Let us pray. Creator God, on this day of celebration, we give thanks for the rich inheritance we have received from this university, for the wisdom and encouragement of those who have opened our minds, challenged our perceptions, and enriched our learning. We give thanks for family and friends who have supported us and encouraged us to achieve our goals. Bless all our graduates, those who will use their newfound wisdom and skill to push forward the frontiers of science and to plan and engineer an exciting new future, who will develop the use of new technology for the benefit of all. Inspire those who will promote greater understanding of our physical world and the workings of the human body, those who will use their gifts of knowledge and compassion for the relief of suffering and the build-up of healthcare for all humanity. We give thanks for all our graduates. May they meet each new opportunity with a bold and daring spirit, and may they find great happiness in all that they do. Amen.
Please be seated. Thank you, Reverend Professor, for those prayers. One of the tasks that our chaplain has is to make sure the weather remains good. And certainly we stop waiting part of the performance. We'll see what happens this afternoon. Before I go to the next item, which is to ask the Chancellor to address us all, I have to say something about our principal, Vice Chancellor. He's passionate about this university. His passion and ambition is to lead us to becoming the leading university in Scotland. And I have no doubt that some of them, how much we are on the way. This summer graduation, as we all know, is rather special. We celebrate 50th graduation of the University of Dundee. While we were in university before, it is as Dundee University that we celebrate that graduation. And part of that, our principals set up a principal's challenge, because other passion we had passion for our students. We wanted to make sure that if any of our students get into any difficulty, they could be helped. And students can get into difficulties, particularly short-term financially. So the challenge was to start at our campus in Kirkcaldy, which is our nursing campus, to cycle to St Andrews to remind me that we once were part of it, but no longer. And our ambition is to get better. And then to row across the Tay. And then to cycle to Liverhulme campus, which is our medical campus. And then to run from there to the main campus. And he and his wife, Lady Downs, were sitting in the, what do you call a jury box there. So we need to congratulate our principal and vice chancellor for setting up that challenge. Mind you, he persuaded other members of staff. Whether that was a persuasion or something else, I do not know. But all of them need to be congratulated. And he has raised thousands of pounds for that foundation for students, which will now continue to grow. Thank you very much for this support. Lady Downs was a true supporting wife, did the whole course with him. I have to tell you, she's much fitter than he is. Principal, can I ask you to address the Assembly?
Well, one thing about our Chancellor is he's always likely to throw in a few surprises during the ceremony, and I wasn't expecting that. And I've come over all emotional now, so thank you very much. And it's true what he said. It wasn't just that my wife Elizabeth accompanied me or ran ahead of me sometimes on this event. It was that she both encouraged one another during 3.5 months of training so that we could complete it successfully. So, and thank you for your support and all those who've contributed to the fund. So, Chancellor, Councillor, graduands, honorary graduands, ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome you all to this graduation ceremony, to your graduation ceremony in our 50th anniversary year. As the Chancellor has said, we gained our status as an independent university in 1967 after a long association with the University of St Andrews. 50 years on, I think both sides would agree this has been a fortunate separation, which has created two world-class universities and formed something of an intellectual Gold Coast here on the east of Scotland. And I can confirm that we are still very much friends. As the Chancellor has said, we had a brief stop at St Andrews while doing my charity challenge last week. Brief only because I was advised not to stop for too long in the middle of a 50-mile cycle in case my legs seized up. And that event was part of those anniversary celebrations. And in her speech greeting the cyclists from Dundee, St Andrews Principal Professor Sally Mapstone wished us well for the next 50 years, to which I responded by wishing St Andrews well for their next 600 years, that being an anniversary they marked recently. And this emphasises one critical difference between us. Since gaining our independence, we have had to make our mark quickly, and we have done so, to the extent that Times Higher Education ranks us as the best in the UK and in the world's top 20 of young universities, those aged 50 years or under. And in the face of increasingly fierce competition from around the world, that is notable recognition. Our 50th anniversary is something we are marking with events throughout the year. A recurring feature of these for me has been the chance to meet with many of our alumni, your predecessors, who too have sat in their robes in this hall over the past 50 years. And what has struck me again and again is how proud they are of their university and the affection in which they hold their time in Dundee. On visits back to the campus, and we have indeed welcomed hundreds of them in recent weeks, there has also been much reflection on the changes they see around them, on campus and around the city. For those who are here in the late 60s, there is obviously a lot that is different. But the same applies to those who were here just 10 years ago, as the landscape around us continues to change. And you also, in your time, will have seen change, I'm sure, most obviously in the central waterfront of the city, where we see the V&A Museum of Design rising on the banks of the Tay. And what a magnificent building that is. That is a project which originated here at the university. And it's just one that I think epitomizes a very important point about where we came from and where we are heading. In his address to visiting alumni at our chaplaincy recently, Eddie Small said that the most important part of our name is the word of. He went on to remind us we're not just a university in Dundee. We are the University of Dundee, a community within a community. We take pride in being where we are, and we're committed at all times to making a difference locally, using our global reputation to bring benefits to this city. We're critical to the local economy, contributing £750 million every year to Scotland, and standing as a major employer and a crucial focus for innovation and investment. We're a social and cultural hub, linking researchers with the community across our many disciplines, creating events that draw thousands of people onto campus and into the city. This year's annual degree show at Duncan of Jordanstone College of Art and Design, for example, attracted 15,000 visitors in its opening weekend. We attract people, students and staff, from around the world to this city. Many of the nationalities across the 140 or so countries our community is drawn from will be represented in the hall today. And we're a more international institution than we've ever been, with record numbers of applications to come and study here. And I believe this creates a diversity on campus that enriches our community and culture and that of the city. And we will continue to be international in our outlook. We're also committed to improving equality and fairness, providing the best opportunities for everyone in our wider community. Our record on widening access to higher education in Scotland is unequalled. Our annual Access Summer School celebrates its own silver anniversary this year, and in that time has helped more than 2,000 students into higher education. And they are people who may not have been able otherwise to obtain a university place, in many cases through no fault of their own due to the circumstances of their upbringing. And in all of this, I think you can see the influence of our central mission to transform lives, locally and globally, through the creation, sharing, and application of knowledge. The 50 years that have brought us to this point have provided plenty of challenges, but also many startling achievements. Over those past 5 decades, we have pioneered innovations as diverse as flat-screen technology and keyhole surgery. Many of the satellites and shuttles launched into orbit have circuitry designed and built here. Our translational biomedical research underpins global efforts to tackle cancer, diabetes, and tropical diseases which kill millions each year. We've become one of the world's leading centres for forensic sciences research. And from Turner Prize winners to political leaders, activists for social change to captains of industry, our alumni are transforming the world and the way we look at it. And we're ambitious to do more, to take our university into the next 50 years with justifiable confidence. Earlier this year, I was lucky enough to accompany colleagues on a visit to CERN in Geneva, site of the Large Hadron Collider, the largest scientific experiment in the world, capable of replicating conditions which last prevailed naturally at the very dawn of the universe. We were there to discuss collaboration arising from world-class expertise in laser technology in our School of Science and Engineering. And that's yet another example of us taking a seat at the table with the very best in the world, creating research with impact, but also opening opportunities for our students, giving you the chance to experience the forefront of knowledge and human understanding. Our achievements are driven, I believe, by the strong sense of community that exists in the university and across our city. You will have experienced this yourselves as students here, and I hope you continue to feel part of it as graduates. That sense of community is something that is at the heart of our approach, and it's what makes Dundee unique. And it's going to be by harnessing the strengths of our community that we can do even more. And working in partnership with the Students' Association is a vital part of that. It has helped us to create a student experience that is consistently rated amongst the very best, underpinned by students being participant in all universities' important committees, helping to plan for continuing success. You have all played your part in creating and sustaining that community, and I thank you for that. You've helped set the standards we've reached and fueled our ambitions for the future. I hope that in years to come, people here will be talking about your achievements, and you will be sharing your own warm reminiscences of time spent at the university. So as you cross this stage today to receive your degrees and then step out into the world as a graduate and ambassador for the University of Dundee, I and the university community wish you the very best for your future. Thank you.
Thank you, Principal, for that inspiring speech. It is now my pleasure to ask Dr. Andrew Hall from the School of Dentistry. You don't normally get an applause before you even started.
What can I say? Chancellor, before the dental graduands are presented, I will ask them to assent to a declaration that they will maintain traditional standards of professional conduct. Will the dental graduands please stand? I solemnly promise to use to the best of my knowledge and ability the art and science of my profession for the good of those under my care, and to make the preservation and restoration of their health my constant aim. I shall keep secret anything I see or hear in my practice that should not be divulged. I shall constantly endeavour to improve my knowledge and skills within my profession, and to share useful discoveries with my fellow practitioners whom I promise to hold in fraternal regard. These things I shall do for the benefit of those whom I seek to serve and for the honour of the profession I now join. Do you make this promise?
Thank you. You're a bit timid at saying, "I do," but I'm sure you mean it. Now I call upon the Dean of School of Dentistry, Professor Mark Hector, to introduce the graduates. Please be seated.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present to you for the degree of Bachelor of Dental Surgery, Abdul Ridzuan. Noor Khalid. Anna Blair. Kiara Blair. Stephanie Blair. Stuart Burns. Rebecca Carslaw. Katrina Clark. Scott Coates. Andrew Connolly. Claire Connolly. Aidan Coyle. Dale Cromer. Pamela Dixon. Catherine Doherty. William Donovan. Hannah Dunbar. Stephanie Duthry. Catherine Elliott. Shona Garland. Bradley Graham. Cameron Gray. Ross Green. Mariam Hamid. Patrick Handy. Megan Hunter-Whelan. Catriona Ireland. Heather Ivat. David Jack, Juliana Jetty, Christopher Jordan, Morag Kennedy, Susan Cudder, Kanak Porn Laura Kuthai, Yu Chen Lim, Paige Lipsky, Graham Lister, Catherine Manning, Catherine Marley, Hugo Meu, Lauren McCurdy, Katie Meldrum, April Miller, Amber Mitchell, Victoria Muir, Ross Monroe, Samantha Murray, Jennifer Neal, Bevan O'Neill, sorry. Robbie Parr, Miranda Patterson, Harris Rashid, Claire Ratcliffe, Nadia Rosali, Sarah Robertson, Emma Robson, Sarah Safar, Valerie Sands, Louise Scott, Jack Southam, Lee Stewart, Jill Sweeney, Alexandra Jeek, Felicia Fing, Sarah Taylor, Rebecca Toner, Jennifer Tong, Nicola Turner, Laurie White, Gregor Wilson, Michael Young, and Ramsey Young. And for the degree of Bachelor of Science, Grace Dillett, Caitlin Jenkins, Kaylee McEwen, Holly Mooney, Anna Ronaldson, Abigail Sutherland, and Jennifer Weir. And for the degree of Master of Science, Khadija Shaha, Basha Shalm, Ahmed Said, Osama Atif, Karam El Bashir, Osama Abdalal, Nuha Muhammad. And for the degree of Master of Dental Science by Research, Samuel Rollings. And for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Tahir Akbar, Ali Al-Harbi, Heather Cassie, and Simon Shepherd.
Thank you, Professor Hector. I call upon the Dean of School of Science and Engineering, Professor Ian Stewart.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present to you for the degree of Master of Engineering with Honours, Robert Ainsworth. Stuart Branken, Mark Dasturi, Ali Eldharat, Andrew Forsyth, Craig Hay, Liam Litt, Kevin McDermott, Catriona McMillan, Gregor Nicol, Cecilia Olson, Peter Romanchuk, Frank Seth, Yasin Sharif, Rasmus Jorgen, Stephen Thompson. For the degree of Master of Mathematics with Honours, Stephanie Lewis, Jack McLean Foreman, David Tevittdale, Corey Thompson, Brogan Webster, for the degree of Master of Science with Honours, Fatma Rehman, Rachel Duncan, Hannah Boyd, James Parker, Darren Scrimger, Edward Smith-Uchotzi, Axel Stromberg, for the degree of Bachelor of Engineering with Honours, Callum Brown, Robin Gray, Greg Hutchison, Alan Wilson, Jakub Witkowski, Gavin Johnson, Eliora Kawa, Joshua Luo, Callum Mackay, James Tailford, Joel Gibson, Matthias Schaffenberger, Jamie Stewart, Mohammed Afzal, Bilal Ahmad, Abdul Rahman Al Johana, Tariq Ben Manek, Nathaniel Borthwick, Kobus Gotas, Craig Books, Gavin Brown, Andrew Davidson, Nicholas Gibson, Sam Grace, Aidan Gray, Alan Grenfell, Callum Hogan, Paul Hudson, John Irons, Ronald John, Stephen Kerr, Mohammed Khalik, Archie Lees, Ben Lindsay, Stuart Marden, Jonathan Marshall, Craig Mays, George Mason, Gareth McPherson, Duncan McDermott, Catherine McGinley, Heather Gowan, Gregor Mitchell, David Morton, Craig O'Gilvey, Matthew Perry, Angel Ruiz Granada, Martin Speed, Jake Tulloch, Luke Wood, for the degree of Bachelor of Engineering, Natasha Adogu, for the degree of Bachelor of Science with Honours, Tamara Wilton, Paul Adamson, Nicholas Clark, Julia Coburn, Laura Grogan, Abby Horsborough, Francesca Lacosta, Fezan Mughal, Alexandra Norman, Lauren Fimister, Connor Scott, Emma Sloan, Ailsa Small, Harry Adam, Noor Al-Saru, Kieran Banks, Ewan Berry, John Bothwell, Lewis Boyden, Suzanne Buchanan, Lee Clark, Daniel Connolly, Lewis Davey, Tristan Haley, William Hume, Matthew Lang, Kimberly McCann, Blair MacLeod. Lewis Palmer. Ryan Robinson. Kieran Small. Anil Tahir. Isetsi Taraskathikitas. Stephen Turner. Yulian Vasilev. Gregor White. Andrew Davis. Dylan Kane. Matthew Malone. Ross Mills. Philip Pratt. Cassia Cruz. Jonathan Rose. Connor Sewell. Tanya Bertrand. Ellen Brooks. Matthew Carter. Deirdre Klisman. Ashley Day. Alexandra Dryborough. Caroline Forrest. Laura Garrigan. Caroline Goodliff. Angus Lewis. Emma McNeil. Rebecca Osborne. Ellie Phillips. Andrea Policarpio. Antonia Sutter. Maya Sharma. Jiang Yin. Robin Christie. Jonas Igel. Abby Clarkson. Stephanie Dewar. Holly Drysdale. Sabine Dunlop. Lisa Howden. Rebecca Leith. Zoe McIntyre. Ryan Reed. Elizabeth Seary. Kirsty Young. Howard Goodall. Joseph Hill. Adam Muir. Gary Stewart. Simba Zvova. For the degree of Bachelor of Science, Lisa Kroniken. Rachel Mulholland. Nicholas Dean. Joshua King. Stuart Mackey. For the degree of Master of Science, Nicola Fenu. Sinith Mudyanselagi. Fabrizio Puzzu. Simon Asender. Charisma Buxton Tata. Umang Desai. Alistair Firrell. John Hamilton. Emma Humphrey. Owen Lloyd. Macdum Sheikh. Wouter van Gool. Vary Tavendale. Master of Science by Research, Douglas Thompson. For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Ehsan Reza Bagherian. David Bajek. Lauren Fleming. Demetrius Halogiros. Stephen McLean. Christopher Martin. Craig MacDonald. Philip McGavin. Scott Palmer. Iona Tuff. Heather Wallace. Stephanie White. Yunwei Zhu. Jiawei Zhu.
Thank you, Professor Stewart. And congratulations to the department for producing so many PhDs.
Thank you very much.
Principal.
Chancellor, I have the honour to invite you to confer their degrees in absence upon the candidates who have been unable to attend this ceremony.
By the authority of the Senate, I confer these degrees. All the better looking ones didn't come.
Yeah, I know. I told you he was liable to come up with unexpected interruptions to the process, but we also now have another, not an interruption, but something that has become a tradition in our ceremonies, but is not scripted in the books that you have. For this, I need you to cast aside your inhibitions. I think it's been quite quiet this morning. It often is on the first of our graduation ceremonies, but that is not what is required of you now, because what I want you to do in a moment is to join together in collective celebration of your achievements. You began this morning as graduands, and you are now graduates of the university, and that, I think, requires a degree of celebration. So what I want you to do is not polite applause. You can shout, you can cheer, you can stamp your feet, anything that is legally available to you to make a lot of noise to join together in celebration. There's a health and safety order about not throwing hats in the air. I wouldn't worry about that. But if you do throw your degree certificate into the air, make sure you catch the right one, otherwise you might go away with the wrong degree. So can I offer my congratulations to all of you and invite you to join in celebration, please?
I won't have to buy these now, right? I was wrong about the good-looking ones didn't come. You all look fantastic. including the one who's trying to change his hair color the same as mine. Keep trying. It's now my pleasure to ask our own, the Professor Dame Sue Black, to introduce the honorary graduate. Dame Sue Black.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present for the degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa, Mr. Alan Alda. Can you stand there? I'm so sorry, but you have to stand there until I talk about you. Okay. Naively, ladies and gentlemen, I thought I might find and understand the man through the musings of others. And in fact, the truth was hidden in plain sight. And there he was, hopefully a slide will come up, shouting it from his own inimitable style, from the pages of his own books. When the first book, called Never Have Your Dog Stuffed, begins with the line, "My mother didn't try to stab my father until I was 6, then I knew I was about to embark on an exploration of fun, genius, and honesty in equal glorious proportions. As a child, growing up in a community of burlesque performers, he was warned to notice nothing, and being a curious and somewhat obsessive child, he in fact chose to notice and experience everything. The sight of scantily clad ladies, the sound of raucous laughter at body routines, and the heady smell of perfume and the soft touch of silk, satin, and feathers. Every sense assaulted with a richness of detail that was imprinted indelibly on the mind of an impressionable young boy, all building towards an unconventional character who could dive deeply into the well of his personal experiences to portray his characters on stage and on screen with vitality, realism, and humanity. So much of our adult personality is written in those early years of our lives, and his were molded by the inconstancies of a fluid and fluctuating lifestyle, dictated by people, places, and education. From a mother with challenging health issues to a Catholic school in Manhattan, military school, and then a remote farm to recover from polio, it was never going to be a traditional upbringing. But then he was not an average little boy either. With curiosity as his favorite teacher and a voracious appetite for books, by 8 he knew he wanted to be a writer, and by 9 he knew he was going to be an actor. A lifelong laughter addict, his singular drive in both his public and his private life has always been to give pleasure, to perform, to be a center for attention, and to keep pushing to see what else he could master before he might finally fail. Being able to terrify himself made him feel alive. Harnessing and controlling such genius is a careful and lifelong challenge. Often feeling he was competing with his father, Alan chose his own way, and life was not easy. And this is a really important lesson for you as you graduate, because first of all, he was a taxi driver, and then a doorman. He got paid to be hypnotized in a psychiatric clinic. He hand-colored baby pictures, and he sold mutual funds. And these were simply a means to pay the bills that would allow him to follow what both his heart and his soul craved, performing. To control when a room would laugh, and then when they would stop. All the time paying attention to what others might think of as trivial and inconsequential detail. He is a self-confessed obsessive. It must be a scary world to be born with the need to live life with abandoned passion, to walk that gossamer thin thread that separates genius from madness, and even more terrifying for those who loved him and could only watch and wait. Alan's grounding force has always been a highly talented musician, writer, and photographer that he met at a party when he was just 20 years old. In March of this year, Alan and Arlene Alda celebrated their 60th diamond year. That's got to be worth a round of applause. And of course, Arlene has the answer. She has the secret. And her secret to a long marriage is to have a short memory. Gradually, the acting part, we haven't got them up there. We do have them up there, that's good. Gradually, the bigger acting parts came. And then in 1972, he read the script of a television series called MASH, about the antics of the 4077th Mobile Army Surgical Hospital in Korea. He thought he might like to play the part for a little while. The adjectives, ladies and gentlemen, would be feeble if I tried to describe the impact of Hawkeye Pierce. And Arlene, I can only apologize on behalf of the entire world, because quite frankly, we all fell in love with your husband, just a little bit. For 251 episodes over 11 years, he made us laugh, cry, and think about difficult subjects from the safety of our own homes. And ironically, MASH's run lasted 8 years longer than the Korean War. And Alan decided to end the dream in 1983 with a 2.5-hour final episode, which was watched by over 125 million viewers. Well, actors crave success, but when it comes with that level of global intensity, there is always a price to pay. For some reason, and it's an absurd reason, the public choose to lose reality when they're faced with a celebrity. They want to touch you. They want to hug you, push you, insult you, fight with you, love you. They want to be photographed with you. And they want you to sign the strangest and most personal of strange objects. Where do you go next in a career when you've hit such global stardom? And for many, it is off the deep end. But for Alan, it was back to as much of our normality as was possible. He was a husband, a father, a writer, a director, and an actor. But he was still that strangely unfulfilled, curious little boy who had studied a mail-order course in taxidermy and hence never have your dog stuffed. And then in 1993, he began hosting the hugely successful series Scientific American Frontiers, a companion program to the magazine Scientific American. And he remained in this role until the series closed in 2005. It was a cornucopia of scientific abundance, just waiting to be explored by this frustrated scientist who got to investigate car crash testing, experience heart surgery, climb the Leaning Tower of Pisa, step inside the human brain, and more. Over 81 episodes, he asked questions about the world around him and its future with science, and he explored the answers through his own wit and clarity, and admitted freely that he had absolutely no problem appearing much smarter than he really was. In 2009, Alan joined the faculty of the School of Journalism as a visiting professor at Stony Brook, which is the State University of New York. He works actively with the centre, and in 2013, it was renamed in his honour as the Alan Alda Centre for Communicating Science. And it's here that current and future scientists learn how to communicate more clearly and vividly with the public, bringing together the skills in which he excels: writing, performing, and communicating. And he realized from his time at PBS that scientists often have great stories to tell. It's just often they're pretty rubbish at doing it. Niamh and I were honoured last year when Alan agreed to record a short video for the launch of the Dundee University's Leverhulme Research Centre for Forensic Science. In our world, the clear communication of science in the courtroom impacts on the liberty of the accused, or depending on the country in which we are operating, their life. It is not trivial or for the faint-hearted. The team from Stony Brook, which is led by Laura, are with us in Dundee all of next week as we run workshops for our scientists to hone their communication skills. And frankly, we are ridiculously excited to be working with them on a project that is specifically designed for the communication of science in the courtroom. Alan has decided, and frankly, who are we to disagree, that he will live until he is 106. He is a very precise man. Personally, I am utterly delighted and hugely relieved because it means that we still have a quarter of a century of work, fun, and chaos to unleash on an unsuspecting world. Alan, I know you are going to love Dundee because as Seamus Heaney, the Nobel laureate in literature, so aptly described to us, we have our head in the clouds, but we have our feet on the ground. And we are the city of discovery. And you inspire us to embrace the possible whilst vehemently resisting suffocation from the practical. Chancellor, I have the honour to invite you to confer upon Mr. Alan Alda, who is the glorious sum of his many ridiculous parts, the degree of Doctor of Laws.
By the authority of the Senate, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Laws. Congratulations. We're going to keep that. We're going to keep that. Would you like to say a few words?
Yes, please.
Trick microphone. Thank you so much for this wonderful honor. A Doctor of Laws. I just hope this isn't a rush to judgment. Sue, they were beautiful words. Thank you. And I'm very delighted to be given this wonderful honor by the University of Dundee and to be associated, to partner up with the Center for Forensic Science. I'm really looking forward to exciting things. And you know, things are done a little differently back where I come from. This is great here. We don't get to be knocked on the head by the Chancellor. And I assume it's mostly symbolic. Thank you so much for that. Where I come from, I don't know what the custom is here, but we're expected when we face a group of shining faces of young graduates like this to say something important that will carry them through the rest of their lives. And I only have a minute or two, so I thought I'd give you the secret of life. It doesn't take long. Adapt. Adapt, adjust, revise. We wouldn't be here if a species of very tiny organisms didn't adapt to changing conditions. And we have to adapt in our daily lives. You've had to adapt to university life. When you leave here, you'll have to adapt to the workplace. If you get married, you'll have to adjust to your spouse. And believe me, she'll have to adjust to you, or he will adjust to you. If you have children, you're going to have to adapt or you'll go crazy. And if you're lucky enough to get old, like me, you're going to have to adapt to the fact that parts of your body will get unscrewed and fall off. But you have to adapt to it. Your eyes will go, your ears will go, you'll experience the world through devices. But should you just rage and rage against the dying of the light? No, baloney. Adapt, adjust, revise. That's the secret of life. Thank you.
Now, Dame Sue referred to your wife, Arlene, who's here, and 60 years of your marriage. But you also have your daughters here,
Right.
Elizabeth and Eve.
That's right.
And your director of your communication center, Beverly.
No, Beverly is our niece.
Oh, Beverly is your niece.
Yes.
Laura is your
Director
director
of
of...
Laura Lindenfeld is the director
That's the
of
first time.
the
I must be
center.
getting old.
No, I'm the one.
I'm older than you. I think if we don't get all of them here, we must at least get Arlene here.
Oh, wonderful.
Arlene. I have to admit something. The only reason I wanted her here is for her to tell us all how you two met.
Oh, good. So, do you need a microphone? Should you go to the mic?
Should I go here?
Arlene will tell us, yes?
Yeah.
We were at a dinner party. A number of people were there. We had only casually said hello. And the hostess had baked a beautiful rum cake, which she then put on the top of a very old refrigerator because the kitchen she was working in New York was so small that that was the place that she had left to put this cake to cool. And in the course of the evening, the old refrigerator shook and the cake gradually worked its way to the edge and then fell down on the floor. At which point, Alan and I were the only two people at the dinner party that went to the kitchen with our spoons or forks, I forget which, and ate the cake off the floor. The start of a happy marriage.
Thank you. Thank you, Alan. Thank you.
It's a real substantial. Thank you.
I think he thought the cake was baked by her. But it's also a pleasure to have your two daughters and your niece and Laura, your director, here. Welcome. It's now my pleasure to ask Professor Niamh Nic Day. And if you look at the program, you might wonder why am I pronouncing that name this way. But I'm told that's the correct way. And the Professor Niamh Nic Day tells me that's because she's Irish. It's my pleasure to ask Professor Niamh Nic Day to introduce our next fantastic honorary graduate.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present for the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa, Mrs. Fatou Bensouda. Fatou Bensouda grew up in Banjul, the capital of the Republic of Gambia, a tiny West African country bordering on Senegal. The Republic of Gambia is the smallest country in mainland Africa, with a population of just over 2 million people, less than half the population of Scotland. Since she was a young schoolgirl, Mrs. Bensouda felt powerfully driven by a sense of right and wrong, and deeply concerned about the issues of justice, of fairness, and that people should be held to account for their actions. This interest in justice prevailed as she grew older, and she confesses that as a high school student, she used to sneak into the nearby courts to observe the court proceedings. Through those early observations, she became aware that men and women were not always treated the same way, and that women did not always receive the protective embrace of the law that they perhaps deserved. These early experiences of the justice process were partly the driving force that inspired her to pursue a career in the law, and were a foundation to the development of her lifelong ambition to contribute to and to serve justice, and in particular to promote and seek a fairness in the delivery of justice for women and for children. After finishing high school, Mrs. Bensouda moved to Nigeria and obtained her Bachelor of Laws and then her Barrister at Law professional qualification. In 1987, she returned to the Gambia to begin her career as a public prosecutor in the Attorney General's office. She rose to the rank of Deputy General of Public Prosecutions, then served as Solicitor General, and finally as Attorney General and the Justice Minister for the Gambia between 1998 and 2000. In 2002, she first came to prominence on the international legal stage as the legal advisor and trial attorney at the Prosecutor's Office for the International Criminal Tribunal for Rwanda, known as ICTR. The ICTR oversaw the prosecution and bringing to justice of those responsible for the 1994 Rwandan genocide, where between 500,000 and 1 million people lost their lives in just 100 days. Mrs. Bensouda rose to the position of Senior Legal Advisor and then Head of the Legal Advisory Unit of the ICTR, where she gained reputation and respect of her investigations of the Rwandan atrocities. In 2004, she joined the International Criminal Court. This is the world's only permanent court for the trial of war crimes. She first joined as Deputy Prosecutor and then in 2012 was appointed the Chief Prosecutor of the ICC, the first woman and the first African to lead the International Criminal Court. Her duties include the investigation and prosecution of some of the most heinous crimes perpetrated at national and at international level. These include genocide, war crimes, and crimes against humanity. And more recently, the crime of aggression, where an individual plans, initiates, or executes an act of aggression using state military force that violates the Charter of the United Nations. She very quickly had the idea of constituting a scientific advisory board for the ICC, with a vision that such a body should bring together the leaders of international forensic science and forensic medical networks from across the globe, so that they could lend their guidance and experience to the work of the court. This was not a trivial undertaking, as the relationship between scientists and lawyers is not always a comfortable one. We speak different languages, and more often than not, we meet each other only in the theatre of the courtroom, which I can absolutely assure you, as an expert witness, is not always a comfortable experience. Mrs. Bensouda's formidable powers of persuasion meant that the international scientific community, of course, responded overwhelmingly positively. The Scientific Advisory Board, now in its 4th year of operation, take very seriously their role as a critical friend to the Office of the Prosecutor, providing advice and guidance in relation to the gathering of scientific evidence of sufficient quality so that it can be of service to the court. As such, the relationship between law and science, often challenging, is being nurtured and developed at this most significant of international interfaces. Mrs. Bensouda has made it an explicit strategic goal of the ICC to do whatever is in its power and within its mandate to address sexual violence, which unfortunately often affects the most vulnerable groups in our society, many of whom are women and our children. She has committed herself to bring the full force of the law to systematically, consistently, and firmly ensure that the perpetrators of these most horrible crimes are punished and that the victims are recognized and are listened to. On her role of prosecutor, she has said, "What I have put at the forefront, always, are the victims of these atrocity crimes. I have been placed in a position where I can at least do something." You have that at the back of your mind, that there must be justice, there must be accountability for these crimes. Mrs. Bensouda continues to have a distinguished career in law, in both her home country and on the international stage. She continues to be a champion and a voice for international justice and works tirelessly to ensure that the victims of these most horrible crimes imaginable have their voices heard, their experiences listened to and acknowledged, and that they receive the justice that they deserve, and that the perpetrators of the crimes committed against them are held accountable for their actions. She is a principled woman of great integrity, an aspirational role model, and a true beacon for international justice. Chancellor, I have the honour to invite you to confer upon Mrs. Fatou Bensouda the degree of Doctor of Laws.
By the authority of the Senate, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Laws. Congratulations, Mrs. Bensouda. Would you like to say a few words? Sure. Please do. Watch the deliberate trap. Oh.
Thank you very much. Thank you to all. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to express my most sincere gratitude to the University of Dundee for conferring upon me the degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa, and to the Senate of the University, in particular, Principal and Vice Chancellor, Professor Pete Downes, for considering me worthy of this prestigious honor. I am truly humbled by the gesture, and I'm happily accepting this honor. It is a privilege, indeed, to be associated with this reputable institution for higher education, and to join the distinguished group of prior recipients of this degree, as well as the esteemed other graduates here today. I accept this honor, first and foremost, as recognition of the importance of the International Criminal Court and the promise of international criminal justice for a more just and peaceful world. In accepting this degree, and having myself established a scientific advisory board in 2014 to assist my office's work, I am particularly mindful of the role that science can play in the delivery of justice, something which chimes strongly with the work of the university, and particularly at its Leverhulme Research Center for Forensic Science and the Center for Anatomy and Human Identification. The pioneering work of this university in conducting and in the interplay between law and forensic science is truly remarkable, and it is to be commended. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow graduates, in accepting this degree, I renew my commitment as prosecutor of the International Criminal Court to the victims of atrocity crimes by doing my level best to bring to justice the perpetrators within the Rome Statute legal framework without fear or favor. Allow me to specifically address the graduating class of 2017. First, a big congratulations to all of you. Your perseverance and hard work has paid off. You have done it and have reached an important milestone. The future is bright and awaits to embrace you, to embrace your ideas and many achievements. Let me also add that at a time when dark forces and extremism aim to divide our societies, I have full faith in the new generation, the talented young graduates like all of you who fill this room, to carry the torch of enlightenment, tolerance, and progress with you as you enter a new promising chapter of your lives. There is no rationalizing mass violence and extremism. No moral imperative, earthly or divine, would license the commission of such atrocities. I want you to know that notwithstanding periodic setbacks, ours is in fact the age of rights consciousness, where humanity no longer accepts that victims of gross human rights abuses and violence suffer in silence or that their perpetrators escape justice. Your generation is the age where dignity, equality, liberty, diversity, and respect for life, amongst other fundamental guarantees, have sacred value amongst the people of the world and have become fixed in the ever-emerging global awakening. That is your zeitgeist, and it's up to each and every one of you to live by its standards and protect it. I am confident that universal values of human rights and calls for ending impunity for mass crimes will increasingly define this new century. And we must do all we can to ensure that security, stability, and the protective embrace of the law become a reality to be relished by all in all corners of the world. The velocity of change has been fixed towards a more enlightened path for humanity. That path and that future belongs to you, and I am confident you will make it count and build it strong on the trinity of wisdom, tolerance, and respect for the dignity of self and the unfamiliar other. Let me conclude with a lesson informed by my own personal experience. Glass ceilings are there to be shattered. Drown out the noise. Continue to work hard and aim for the sky. It is yours to claim it. As you do, we will all be watching you with pride and admiration. Thank you for your attention.
Dr. Bensouda, thank you very much for those fantastic words. They were inspirational, and you can see from the response how the new graduates responded to it. I'm sorry that I can't ask your husband to come and tell us how you met, because Philip Sr., your husband, and Philip Jr., your son, at the last minute couldn't come. But they wanted to come desperately. Your son, Philip Jr., is an architect in Italy, and your Philip Sr. is working away hard. Please give them our best wishes.
I will. Thank you very much.
It seems rather odd for us to give you a degree of doctor in laws. But I hope you regard it as rather special, because we regard you as rather special.
Thank you very much.
Protecting the humanity from evil people. So thank you very much for saying. Thank you for
Thank you
coming.
very much. Thank you.
Now, in this morning of fantastic things, we got one more left. And that's our fantastic choir. I have no idea what they're going to sing today. Because usually I'm informed, but today I'm not. So, maestro, please.
Because you know I'm all about that bass, no proteins. I'm all about that bass, no membranes. I'm all about that bass, no lipids. I'm all about that bass, bass. Yeah, it's pretty clear. I work in bass 3. The third can wobble, but still it's clear to me. 'Cause I got that charge that all proteins chase, and all the right grooves in all the right places. I see the helicase working its winding set. We know an SMP, it won't be folding right. If you've got function, just let them see. 'Cause every action is dynamic from the 5' to the 3. Yeah, my structure is folding in helix with twist and ride. It's the best way to keep the whole genome wound up inside. Histones. You know I'm popping a stick model once and creaking before. So if that's what you're into, then boy, you've got lots to learn. Because you know I'm all about that bass, no proteins. I'm all about that bass, no membranes. I'm all about that bass, no lipids. I'm all about that bass. I'm bringing Franklin back. Go ahead and tell those Nobel winners that. No, I'm just playing. I know you think they're right. But I'm here to tell you every angstrom is dynamic from the 5' to the 3. Yeah, my structure is folding in helix with twist and ride. It's the best way to keep the whole genome wound up inside. Histones. You know I'm popping a stick model once and creaking before. So if that's what you're into, then boy, you've got lots to learn. Because you know I'm all about that bass, no proteins. I'm all about that bass, no membranes. I'm all about that bass, no lipids. I'm all about that bass. Because you know I'm all about that bass, no sugars. I'm all about that bass, no hormones. I'm all about that bass, no omics. I'm all about that bass. Because you know I'm all about that bass, no ER. I'm all about that bass, no chaperones. I'm all about that bass, no enzymes. I'm all about that bass.
They are fantastic, aren't they? Thank you very much. Now, that's just about the end of the celebration and the fun, unless somebody wants to sing or make a speech. But I hope you enjoyed your own graduation ceremony. We all did. And I wish you well in the future. Most of all, I wish you happiness. So, goodbye, but before we go, can I ask you to please stand while I call for the mace? I declare this academic ceremony closed.